Yo, what up guys, it's your boy Neil, and today I'm gonna share with you guys a time-lapse on how I created a D&D table using recycled materials, primarily cardboard boxes, for our D&D group. So let's jump right into it. Enjoy! Alright, so first let's go through the designs real quick. We've been using the table for months now, more than a dozen sessions already. So there are some bad design decisions. Maybe I'll discuss some later. But so first, this is the raft shape that I want it to be. Those are not exact measurements. This is just the raft shape, and there are some notes on materials that I wanted to use or materials that I have lying around here. This is the I don't want to call it exact measurements since I changed most of it. So yeah, and also I was planning on adding like a small dip. So the main table will be elevated compared to the DM area so that I'll have some sort of privacy. But in the end, like I think it's after our 10th or 11th session that I decided to remove that and elevated it a bit. So this like fangs, I removed that, flattened this whole dip here, so that it's just one complete level table. Well, some notes on how I layered the cardboard boxes. But yeah, this is the exact measurements that I used to make this mock-up table. So at first, I thought that this area will be the main table and that the flaps would be folded underneath the main table. But I didn't factor in the weight. So when I created this and decided to fold it like so, it didn't really work. So I decided to flip it so that the flaps would fold on top of the table. These are the main decisions. So as you can see there's an error because when I created the table itself, it's not really straight. There's a small gap there that I didn't consider. So yeah, that's one of the design errors. Ratio. Yeah, so this is like how I decided on making the flaps. But I didn't go through this. I didn't use hinges in the final design. I just used the flaps of the box. Like when you're closing the box, you have like a flap there. So I used that instead. Yeah, let's get right into it. The time lapse. Roll it. Alright, so a few things to note here. I actually used the exact measurements on the floor using masking tape. Just laid it out on the floor and traced it just to get the sense of the actual size from the design. So traced that using cardboard and used some weights for the glue. Now I found out that working on the floor for like 2-3 hours straight hurt my back, so I used my table here. Yeah, so for the thickness of the whole table, it's around 7-8 layers of cardboard of different, I don't want to say durability, but different stiffness. Because these boxes are from our store downstairs. You know, boxes for chips and different kind of beverages. Alright, so 3 flaps done. Alright, so I did some adjustments on the measurement lab. This is because of the error that I mentioned earlier. You can't really fit all the flaps on the 3 sides of the table. You need to have a little bit of gap. This was a challenge for me because the main table, the center part, the main body, is very big. It's bigger than I expected, so I used a lot of cardboard. Alright, so this is where I asked my brother to help me assemble it, and as you can see, I tried to fold it so that the flaps would be under the table, but it's kind of difficult to prepare it, so we decided to just flip the whole thing and make the flaps fold on the table instead of under the table. And this is our setup before I decided to make the table, the D&D table. And so I decided to make it thicker on just the main body to elevate it a bit compared to the flaps. That is me trying to figure out the best way to make the stands, the legs for the table, but I haven't done that yet. Alright, so it's been weeks already, or I think months, since I've finished the table, and we've been using it for our sessions, but I encountered some troubles with the design because I didn't have any screws in it or on it or anything. It's just glue and some tape. Let's clean this a bit. But I encountered some errors because that's where I sit as the DM, and the players sit right there. Sorry for the mess in the room. And they usually place their hands on this, their arms, so they're always putting pressure to this part. And this is a flap. So what happened was that when they put too much force here, it kind of destroyed the tape and the glue, the combination of the two. That rhymed. And so as a solution, I just put a little bit of stopper here, you know, to make it pop up a bit more. But that's not enough. That actually kind of worsened the situation, because of that, more force has been going this way, so it kind of pulls the whole thing. I actually have, whoops, yeah, they fell. Some screws here that I will use to make this more secure. So it will be this, and then screw it, put some masking tape over it, and then glue it again, so it'll be more reinforced that way. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it with the other flaps though, but if I have enough screw, then I'll do the other flaps too. But I'll prioritize this one first. So yeah, that's one of the flaws of the design. Now, I haven't seen any flaws yet other than that, but I believe there are a couple of things. Well, the design is not perfect, but yeah, I'll be doing that, and let's see what's going to happen. The fix actually worked. The flap is now much sturdier, and you're gonna apply a little bit of force on it compared to the previous one where it's just glue and some tape. This time last, it's actually me just covering the table with wallpaper, because it's not that pleasing just have the cardboard for aesthetic. So I decided to first cover up the main body of the table, you know, where the flaps connect to the main body. As you can see, there are some masking tapes on the edges of the table, because those are the errors that I mentioned in the first part of this video, kind of the weak points of the table. Then I move to the edges of the table. Now I just like to note that I have no idea how to use the wallpaper prior to this, so I'm just guessing that it would work well with cardboard. I'm not really sure.
Alright, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be sure to list all the materials that I used in the description down below. And if you have any questions or comments regarding what I did, regarding the D&D table, be sure to comment them down below, and I'll get back to you guys. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Look, blue screen.